Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. Starting soon.
In a minute. 1 minute.
Well, maybe a bit longer than a minute, but soon. Soon. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. The web show we started because we were out of work.
And it is still true.
All right, don't rub it in. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. Using their expertise to solve problems.
You're going to have to use medical doctors with.
Nope, just two comedians talking rubbish out of their face holes. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. Lockdown 2020, giving Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy bigger compassion, time to write.
And guts.
Hell yeah.
You've shown and are continuing to show.
Only when we stand up on webcam. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon.
Sounds interesting.
Thank you. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. With Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy, who now do not have a
job.
Yep. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. Talking news and taking the mickey out of politicians.
In particular, the first Secretary of State, Dominic Raab.
Yep, definitely him. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Eric McElroy. Starting soon. Shedding light on the coronavirus issues.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body.
It would be harder to see, though.
Hello and welcome to Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen. And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
He is. Right, so episode 21. Again, I've left these in. Sorry, it's just showbiz, darling. I thought, really, if you can straighten the grey bits, I have to keep them straight because that's where I do the white balance. So, welcome along to this show, episode 21. I have no idea how many weeks we've been in lockdown for now, but I do know this. When we started lockdown, I started one of those couch potato to 5K in 8 weeks apps. Yeah. And I am nowhere near being able to run 5K. So I guess we've been in lockdown for about 3 weeks. But not, don't overthink it. And what we do on the show here, we will solve the problems with the world, solve the problems with you. If you'd like to get in touch, we will go through some of the stuff in the news, or you can leave the comments wherever you're watching it. You can email us, you can tweet us at Mr. Stephen Allen and at Eric McElroy, and we will fix those problems. If at any stage, if you've enjoyed this show at all, and you'd think, if I was watching this kind of thing live, I'd buy these guys a drink. Got a link down the bottom where you can donate that amount of money. Right, we'll get cracking on with some of your comments, so keep them coming through. But first, I think it's time to jump straight into that there news.
Yep, this is story number 1 today, and let me tell you, Steve, there are some of these stories. I mean, we're a lighthearted show that talks about the news and solves the world's problems, but some stories are difficult to talk about. And when I say difficult to talk about, I mean the difficult to talk about because this story involves hydroxychloroquine. Did I do it? I did it right?
See.
There we go.
See.
I got it. I figure if Donald Trump can say it, I should be able to fucking say it. U.S. stockpile stuck with 63 million doses of hydroxychloroquine.
Hail Hydra Droxy Watsy?
How can he say it? Anyway.
Look, I mean, seeing as it's I can help you out. Seeing as it's a chemical, and hey, it's only like every single show I mentioned that I did chemistry at university. Hydroxy means you've got an OH group on there, an oxygen and a hydrogen, functional group. And then chloro, you got another functional group of a chlorine, and then the quin is just the name for the rest of it. So hydroxychloroquine.
I think you've made me more confused now. It's too much science. There's too much science in this. I mean, remember, I studied drama. Now, if you want me to act like a hydroxy and a chloro.
What would it be like to be a functional group? An OH functional group, there's electronegativity on the oxygen.
How can I make myself into a medicine that doesn't do what Trump says it will do? How can I be useless for most of society and make the American government buy 63 million doses of me, and now they don't know what to do with them anymore? I mean, it's basically gone the way of many of Trump's products, hasn't it? He said this would work, and now the FDA has said it will not work for COVID-19. So it's gone the way of Trump Airlines, Trump Steaks, and Trump Jr. See, I told you I wrote a proper joke today.
You did. You warned me before we started. There's an actual joke in the show.
One joke. There's more to come. Don't tune out now. But they've got so much of it in this stockpile now. They can't use it. The FDA won't let them use it for for COVID-19 because it's been proven not to help. They're trying to unload it now, and we've got the commercial has been produced by the Drug Association in America.
I happen to be taking it.
I salute you, America. Now, we all need to do our part here, Steve. I know you're not American, but you should. I mean, I've ordered mine. I got my I got it there. See, it's there. Yeah. It's there. It's safe to use. Totally safe to use for anything you want it to. It's totally safe. But the thing is, right? You can't take it for COVID-19. They know that. But I was thinking, 63 million doses. What can you use it for? You can use it as a paperweight. Doorstop works as a doorstop. Yeah. You can wash it out and put bleach in it, and then drink the bleach.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. But if you do drink it, no matter what happens, it might not make you better, but at least you won't have to say hydroxychloroquine anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's so it's totally useless, and it's taking you that long to learn how to say the useless things. You wait till you have to pronounce chemicals that actually work.
Oh God. Don't get me started. Yeah, it's usually, as the way things go, I learn how to say something just as it's not going to be in the news anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Some of the messages coming through on this. Mark says, say hydroxychloroquine in a sexy Dutch accent. What a challenge. Hydroxychloroquine. He's very sexy. Yeah.
The amount of time you spend practicing that accent is horrific.
So Sharon says, hello. So evening, gents. Then Mark says, hello, Sharon. All right, people having more fun in the comment section than they are on the show. Writing it in a little bit.
Our regulars are chatting to each other. I'm not sure if my feed is coming through with chat, so I'll let you announce any chat that comes through.
And then Mike Monera says, hi, guys. Wow, that's a beard, Steve. Yeah, it is. The key to a good beard is you've got to get the hair clips in. It just adds, you've got to straighten the grey bits for thinking.
That's good. That's good. I've been making the effort, though. I've been shaving for this. So, although I'm growing these out, so I'm taking these to the next level. But this has got to go.
Yeah, I was thinking of shaving and making an effort, but I've given in. I wanted facial hair that befits the emotional breakdown that this lockdown's been, and I think I'm getting there. Look at that. Mark says this is approaching the end of week 13 of lockdown. Oh, it's taken me 13 weeks to get less than halfway through an 8-week running app.
And I do want to say thank you to somebody who has gone to our new donation portal, Joke Pit, and has made a contribution. So thank you. Someone has bought us a drink on there, and that is something you can do throughout the show. The link is there. If you like what you're seeing and you think, oh, like Steve said, I'd buy them a drink or a coffee or whatever, we will use it for food, mostly because we don't have a job anymore. And this is how we make money, because this is a Thursday. We normally be out there in a pub. Can't happen, maybe taking a train, not likely to happen, and in a venue performing to live audiences, which is not happening. So anything you can throw our way is much appreciated and keeps us having hope.
But speaking of working at home, look, a lot of us have been working at home. I've certainly, before the facial hair, we filmed the match report from home, and many people said it worked. And now a lot of TV is going to be based at home, which might not be great for some of it, because, well, this was in the news this week. Sir David Attenborough forced to film new BBC series from his home due to coronavirus. That means that Sir David Attenborough won't be wearing anything on the lower half. I don't want to give too much away, but all of those news desk scenes that you might have watched on the MASH report only wore the stuff on the top of the upper half. Mainly because I was also comfort eating and the trousers didn't fit. But I would have done that anyway. Working from home, I think, is okay for us because we were just doing silly jokes. But if you're Sir David Attenborough, your show is a bit more important, isn't it? You watch Blue Planet and all the rest of them. They're about some animals that you don't normally get to see. If you can't leave the house, I'm sorry to say it, BBC, big fan of your work and all that, but the next series that Sir David Attenborough does is going to be borderline terrible. If he has to film it based on the animals in his own house, would you watch this?
Nature is filled with majesty and beauty. Like this, a house fly. It came in through an open window and will now spend most of the day flying in circles in the middle of the room, ignoring the open window and the fresh turd I just did for it in the corner. Here we see a garden snail. Normally, I'd be reaching for the salt, but right now, I'm bloody desperate for the footage. This is a pile of sugar. I'm waiting for the ants to take the bloody clue. Nature is everywhere, but sadly not that much of it is right here.
Actually, I would still watch that. He narrates anything, I will watch that.
Yeah. I just the image of him without his pants on. Ouch.
Oh, come on. He's hardly going to be the only guy nearing 80 who's walking around without pants at the moment. This is
not
the way it
not
goes.
What I want.
The way it goes.
Not what I want. Not what I want to do.
Sharon says, in Attenborough's own habitat. Yes, they could spin it and make it look like maybe they should film him and see. This 80-year-old man has no trousers. Chris says, that was me on Joke Pit. You can buy drink, food, or razors. Oy.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I've noticed the best thing about having a ginger beard is it makes your teeth look whiter.
Ah, there you go.
I knew there'd be a good reason to have a ginger beard. Wherever you're watching it, you can post your comments, and we'll try and catch up with some Twitter ones on the way for shortly. And if you would like to add to the Razor Fund, which sounds a bit more depressing than it was meant to. The web address is here and below on the info.
We're still at episode 40. We'll be using the racers. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yep, I see.
So moving on to your news then. Well, I say your news. The news of your home country, because you're from America originally, and even I've been noticing interesting stuff with John Bolton's bombshell Trump book. And yet again, it is the classic case of Donald Trump versus his archenemy, books. Not an easy time for. I know it's a cheap joke to say he's never finished a book, and it's not even true, because he has finished some books, although I think Melania might have helped him with some of the colouring in, because it's done in makeup. But I'd be interested to know your take on, is this big news?
Oh, it's massive news. I mean, basically, what's happened is John Bolton is another of Trump's former administration people who's left and now written a tell-all. He's the national security advisor, and he's basically said all of these things about Trump and about what people thought about Trump. And it's if you ever think it's bad, it's worse. That kind of book. Trump, of course, has dealt with this the way he deals with all of his former employees by saying that they're terrible people, which is, I guess, why he hired them. You go for what you know, Steve. I don't know. But basically, and he's tried to stop the book from being published by trying to sue, saying that you can't, it's confidential things, these are secret things and that kind of thing. And he's been attacking him on Twitter, of course. We've got one of the tweets here. We've got wacko John Bolton, exceedingly tedious New York Times book is made up of lies and fake stories. He goes on. I don't want to, it doesn't matter what he said. But basically, the key takeaway there is he said that these are all lies in the book.
Yeah.
Which, if he says the book has to be stopped in court because John Bolton's releasing confidential information, but it's all lies.
Yeah.
So basically, he's undermined his entire court case in a tweet because John Bolton's lawyer is just going to go, this is Twitter, and that's the president, and they'll go, okay, out. So you can't have lies that are confidential. Anyway, what he does though when he tweets like this, and he's been tweeting about John Bolton all day, more people buy the book. He's so good at promoting books. I think he's starting to own it because a couple of hours ago he sent this tweet. Blitz, Trump will smash the left and win by David Horowitz, Amazon #1 bestseller. Call 1-800-691-0022. Hot book, great author. Trump knows he's not going to win.
Yeah.
And he's moving on. He's moving on to a book reseller. Now, your headline mentioned the revelations in the book, Steve. We're going to play a new game today. Are you ready?
Is this going to be like...
You get to be the contestant.
I get to be a contestant on what is almost TV, and some people watch it from YouTube on their telly. Oh, I've always wanted to be on a quiz show.
This is it.
Right,
okay.
So if I'm being a quiz show contestant on TV, hello, it's nice to be here. I'm having a great day so far.
Oh, you're going to not win this game.
Oh,
right. We're playing a game here where basically I've got some of the revelations that are in Bolton's book because it's been leaking out. I'm going to say the revelation. You have to tell me whether you think it's true or false.
I got a pen.
Are you ready?
For good reason. Yep.
Okay, I got it written down here. All right, number 1. Trump was fine with China building a concentration camp for an ethnic minority that lives in China. True or false?
Good God. I mean, I'll put my chips on hoping that it's false.
It is true. Well, you got that one wrong. You're not off to a good start, Steve.
Oh, never mind. I've had a good day so far. I'm enjoying it so far, Eric.
Melania really does love Trump deeply.
Come on, really? Really? No, come on. No.
What are you going to say? Which final answer?
Well, I mean, look, they're married, and I'm sure in the book that he'd say yes.
Nope, that's not true. You are 0 for 2. All right. Trump indeed blackmailed the Ukrainian president to get dirt on Joe Biden. True or false?
Well, he was impeached for it, but not found to have done anything criminal, so I guess say false.
You are wrong again, Steve. That's a good thing you don't get it. Okay. Trump often spends much of the day having people call him Obama.
Is that the name version of blackface? No, that can't be real.
Let's not talk about that. We'll get, no. What are you going to say? True or false?
Say false.
That is false. You go incorrect. Well done. Look at that. You're in first place. We're halfway there. Foreign leaders found it easy to manipulate Trump.
Oh, interesting. Let's say true because of Wii tapes.
That is true, except for Boris Johnson. A toddler would find Trump easy to manipulate.
Yeah, it's surely true. Yeah, I bet John said that.
That is true, again, except Boris Johnson. Trump wanted to jail journalists and said they should be executed. President of the United States.
No, come on, that would. I know he doesn't like the fake media, the false news and all that, but no, surely not.
Nope, that is true. He's a great guy.
He wants to have journalists murdered. I've just recently been added to that muckrake website that lists work of journalists. Let's get me taken down from that.
You got Kim Jong-un after you, and now President Trump. Trump often spends much of the day. Oh, I said that one, right? Trump really has bone spurs, and that's why he looks so squinty-eyed all the time, because they hurt so much.
Wow, interesting. I reckon, he does have bone spurs, as we saw him walk down the ramp in last show, yeah.
Well, it's false. It's not in the book. And the final one, John Bolton knew all of this the entire time, refused to testify in the impeachment trial, and should just fuck off.
True.
There you go. I think you won, Stephen. And you get a copy of John Bolton's book.
Oh, great. Because I've been needing something to stand the webcam on to make it look even higher. Oh, it's great to be. I've had a lovely time. And as Darren's already tweeted, a picture from Bullseye. Well, let's have a look what you could have won. Super smashing great.
There you go. Yes, keep your comments coming in, and if you got any problems you want to throw our way, and also feel free to buy us a drink on Joke Pit. The link is there. It's in the description, or should be in most of the platforms where you're watching us. Also, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do that as well, because we have very tiny egos, and every little subscriber, we text each other. It's up. It's gone up. Did you see the new one? There's a new one there.
And if you do watch it on YouTube, I've realised myself, you can just, like, the app on your phone asks you if you want to watch it on the telly. So if you want to watch it on the telly, it's the easiest. I thought it'd be really difficult. It's the easiest thing. Before we move on to the next thing, loads of comments to try and get through. Colin says, is it wrong that I can't watch Pinocchio without seeing John Bolton as Geppetto? Nice. Angel says, I love the Olympia beer sign behind you. They all love your beer sign, Eric. Look at that.
Classic.
He could have flogged loads of those. I've been trying to flog my books that are on my one. No one's buying these. These things ain't shifting. Darren says, just call it HDC. We'll know what you mean. I don't know which bit that was about, and I don't know what you mean. Probably just got myself in trouble.
HDC. The
hydroxychloroquine. Darren, HDQ.
He's given us help, and you're
HCQ, hydroxychloroquine. Yep. Sweet Mother of Mercy Trump, says Sharon. Yeah, afraid so. He does need somewhere to store his toilet paper. I don't know whether we're talking about you in your room or Trump. And
I've still got a roll of toilet paper here every episode. Never
work without it. They say never work with animals and children. Never work without toilet paper.
This is actually a green screen. I'm on the toilet right now.
Chris wanted to know, do I win a speedboat if I won? We'll find out if I get a speedboat. And Mark says he lives in Stevenage, nowhere near water, guaranteed. I've moved from Stevenage, if you were talking about me. Ooh. I'm out of there these days. I'm actually a lot nearer water. I was going to talk about that today because there was a police training. I live near a police training area in Kent, and there was police training as I went for a run today past it. So they were shouting and shooting as they were doing their training exercises. This is not the time for there to be shouting and shooting. I nearly followed through. Anyway, more of your comments still to come. You can keep the messages coming through. But let's move on to a bit of entertainment news that I wanted to do. Gwyneth Paltrow has famously made a candle that was in all the newspapers because it was a bit controversial. She was interviewed about this on the Tonight Show in America, Jimmy Fallon, and I've got a few clips from the interview. He was asking about the name of the original candle. She said,
What is it called again? It's called This Smells Like My Vagina.
She says that like a posh woman who's about to send a salad back in a restaurant. It's bizarre. He was saying that it was so popular, and it was. It was in all the newspapers. She got all the free press. It was very popular, and as Jimmy Fallon pointed out, it sold out.
But the name of it's back in stock. You can buy it now if you want.
Always working. Less demand for your vagina these days. Happens to us all. And I've got to admit, it is genius marketing because. How would we know if it smells like her vagina? I mean, it's one of those where, prove me wrong. There's only really Chris Martin who could go, no. And everyone else, we're just going to take your word for it. Still, 70 quid, because that's what it was selling for, 70 quid. It's a lot of money for that when you could just, I don't know, make your own, burn a candle and leave a honey glazed ham out the fridge. I don't know. And no one needs it. No one has ever been sat in a room thinking, do you know this needs? This would be better if it smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's foof. No one ever needs that. In fact, I would go as far as to say the only person who needs anything that smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina is someone who's trying to break into a house and sneak past her guard dogs, because that's the only place that dogs really sniff you. And they'd be like, yeah, it checks out. But it turns out she's got a new candle that she realises if you name things provocatively, it will get people like me talking about it, newspapers talking about it. So, the new one.
And we have a new one called...
What is it called?
I've got a screenshot of it. This smells like my orgasm. Again, brilliant marketing, because what can we do to question her? It's even better than the last one, because not only a few of us actually witnessed hers, but if someone ever says, I mean, that don't make any sense. I don't know what an orgasm smells like. You're going to get ripped down the pub like, I feel sorry for your missus. So you can't question it, and it is great advertising. And she knows what she's doing when it comes to promotional work, because in the interview she also showed us the box that it comes in.
And the box has fireworks.
Fireworks, or to quote Jimmy Carr, does it look like a plasterer's radio? It is splattered. She's invented a bukkake box for her. Yeah. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. And I want in on this, because I think it's time to make some money on this show. So if she can do this, and I think it's about 70 quid again for this candle, This Smells Like My Orgasm, I thought what I'd do is bring out the Steve range. The things that you could buy if you're interested. I don't think I'm nicking her idea too full on, because I don't want her to sue me. But I've come up with this candle, which, if you can see that, this smells like my ass cleft.
Nice.
And what it is basically is a candle with some Edam cheese. Because Edam smells like ass. Why does no one talk about this? Or my ass smells like Edam. I'm not sure which way around that logic makes sense. Also, if you're interested in other items, this one's slightly... this smells like the inside of your nose.
Nice. Okay.
Because prove me wrong. Can't sue me for it, and it's not too much like a Gwyneth idea, so I don't think she'll sue me for it. If you're interested in some items of attire, you could buy these socks. This smells like wank. I don't really know what that'd smell like, but it's kind of
good times.
You've got a teenage son in your life you need to buy something for. I don't think she can sue me for that. And finally, I'm bringing out a food range as well. This salmon steak with This Smells Like Gwyneth Paltrow's candle. Maybe she will sue me for that one. We might have to take that one down off the website. Okay. But you're up to date, and if you'd like to buy any of those items,
just donate at jokepit.com. If you donate enough, Steve will send you all of the things that he showed you just there. You can have all of those things.
Not this one, because oddly enough, this is going to be my dinner tonight, and it was just... I was going to use a tin of sardines, but I thought, I've got some salmon in. It's just a higher class joke.
So many jokes I'm not going to say about that. I mean, the thing is, let's catch it. So if you get that as a gift, and someone gives you a gift that says, this is what my orgasm smells like. But does that mean mine as in my orgasm that I'm giving you? Or is it, because that's very confusing. So it should say this is what Gwyneth's orgasm smells like, not because the my could be confused by someone receiving the gift. They may not know the backstory where it's coming from.
Yeah, good point. And also, I mean, when you blow a candle out, they all smell a bit burnt. Now, I know she's getting on a bit, but Gwyneth, use some lube.
Yeah, no, but if you do it right, it's smoking.
Didn't even plan that joke, isn't it? Darren says, I've smelt it and it ain't pretty. What are you talking about? Of any of those?
Which one of all of those things?
The inside of your own nose. Some more of your messages. Let's have a look. Now, it would be bad if the candle smells of apple. Oh God. Very good joke. But wow. Better to look like a plasterer's bucket than a badly packed kebab, says Chris. This show's taken a turn, hasn't it?
Wow.
And Sharon says, does her new orgasm candle take ages to light up? Just when you think you've got it, it's gone out again.
And then it just goes down quickly.
Hang on, I've got some more messages before we get to you. Colin just put one in there. I'm releasing eau de cologne called Scent of Semen. Well,
Merry Christmas.
Reminding you of the boat.
Thank you for a couple more people who've thrown us a joke pit donation. We really appreciate that. Anything you can chuck in there is greatly appreciated, and will go towards us building up Steve's product range.
Yeah.
So we will reinvest in the show and in your experience, and we will send everyone who donates a little bit of Steve's ass lift.
We've got some more comments. We'll keep them coming through.
Right.
We'll read them out on the way for you next.
We'll do that next. This next story actually is a little bit personal, Steve. So I know we talked about my birthday on the show a month ago. It was a month ago. It was my birthday. But this is a different anniversary. Today is actually the day 20 years ago I arrived in the United Kingdom as an immigrant to this country. And I've got the proof. We've got the stamp from my passport right here. Look at that. It's hard to see, but basically you can see on there 18th of June, 2000. 20 years ago I got here, and that's my permanent residency, indefinite leave to remain. That used to be, basically that stamp was so basic I used to copy it and just put it in other people's passports. That's how easy it was to get into the country back then. I just typed that in there myself because back then people had typewriters. And if you don't believe, that's the photo on my passport. I think we have that as well. This is me 20 years ago. So look at that chin. Look at that chin. It's just so strong, and just now it's morphed. I've got, oh God, where did that chin go?
It's unfortunate because I used to wear glasses that looked like that as well, and no one told us at the time that we were all wearing glasses that made us look like serial killers.
You can't even wear glasses in a passport photo anymore. That's how much has changed since that time. So yeah, take it down. I can't resist. Oh,
beautiful. Look at the comparison. Hang on, let's go full screen, Eric, to.
Oh God, it's not. Kind of.
Look at that. I've never seen someone hold their stomach in so much their chin went tighter. The wowzers.
Oh, those were the days. Those, I still got the hair though. 20 years. It's, you get reflective when I think you pass milestones like that. I remember what I did that day. I went to the pub, which you can't do anymore. And I remember going on the train, which you really shouldn't do anymore. And I remember seeing people go to Royal Ascot for the first time, not knowing what the fuck that was. Like, what is it? Are people really that posh here? Is this what life is like? Do I need to buy a hat? What's going on? This is how long ago it was. Look at 18th June 2000. There was no 9/11 yet. That was not a thing. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook. AOL was the biggest media company in the world. Do you remember AOL? Did they have AOL here?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I love seeing people with an AOL email address because it just means that they've not changed. Yeah.
Yeah. There was no double chin. Bill Clinton was president. And people liked Tony Blair.
Oh, those were the days.
And I've gotten married and had 2 kids and a dog. But other than that, life is exactly the same.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, nothing's changed. So thank you very much,
now,
UK.
Now that you've lived here for so long, and
you're...
There you go. You're a proper Brit now.
With a bit of tea in there.
You have milk in your tea?
No.
Okay, not quite fully there yet then.
Yeah.
Some more of your messages. Peggy says, I'll send you some whitening strips. Ouch. And then Alan says, very cold, Peggy. Yeah, Alan, backing me up. Peggy, you're being so mean. You're meant to be nice to the people doing your web streams. You can keep your messages going through on any of the topics that we've talked about. We don't have long left. I realise technically we've got a minute left.
We're getting close to the end of the show. And in the last few minutes, if you want to chuck us something, maybe just a little gift for being here for 20 years. I'm not paid any taxes, so I shouldn't mention that now, I suppose. I'm definitely not paying taxes now, that's for sure. But if we don't have any more media, I think we have our final. Do we have a final story?
Yeah, actually,
yes.
It's a mixture of stories. I want to do a roundup of the news stories because through the week, people have been messaging on Twitter at Mr. Stephen Allen, at Eric McElroy, and also there's an email address that you can track us down at. You know what it's like on the internet. Loads of people have sent loads of different news stories, so I thought I'd just kind of do a little roundup of the news stories. Loads of people commenting today about this one. Emmanuel Macron has been visiting us over here, and I think he flew in because if he would have got a ship and sailed over from Dover, I think Nigel Farage would have been there taking a picture of it. That's the joke to upset the right-wing people. But it says that Emmanuel Macron has bestowed France's highest award on the capital, on London. And we all know France's highest award is a shrug that's not quite as negative as normal. That one. There you go.
Yeah,
and that'll upset the left-wing people. Balance. That's what we aim for. Thank you to Dave Morris, who I see has just followed me on Twitter as well. But earlier on, he sent this story, the one everyone's been talking about, Dominic Raab. This is the issue about him saying he wouldn't take a knee with the Black Lives Matter campaign. For some reason, he said it was linked to Game of Thrones. Did he think no one has ever knelt down before Game of Thrones was written? What? But he has said that the only two people that he would take a knee for are the Queen and his wife, which, even if you ignore all the racial undertones of this, it means he must have a heck of a time trying to tie his shoelaces. No one really has to do all that karate stuff.
Does that mean he's married to Boris Johnson?
Does it? What?
Because I'm saying he's taking a knee for Boris. Never mind.
I think that's what I see.
Yeah.
Then there's Philip Brannan, who has sent this story through. Now, this is another American one for you. You'll know more than me, but The Bold and the Beautiful, it's like a soap opera thing, is it?
Yep, daytime soap
opera. Apparently they will start filming again, but they will be using blow-up sex dolls so that they can resume filming of the sex scenes, which I think it's great. It will be slightly off-putting during a love scene when you hear that skin versus plastic noise.
Yep.
But we should do the same over here with our soap operas. Because it would be slightly different. I mean, in EastEnders, if you wanted to do a sex scene between Phil and Sharon, all you would need is 2 large potatoes. All right, Sharon, take your jacket off. Take your jacket off!
If anyone has made a donation, I can do refunds.
I did a joke.
Just refunds. Refunds are available. I'm sorry.
And also, Chris says, sex doll. Yep. And then also my other half sent a story to us. I'm not sure if there was a hint in this, but she sent this saying the news story of Vienna police fine a man €500 for massive intestinal wind. He broke the wind. And
intestinal wind.
It's quite a big fine for popping off. The police approached him. He broke some wind. Apparently, he was let go. Wait a minute. He let one go. Easy mistake to make. That's how childish I am today. But speaking of being childish, I read further into the story, and because obviously people will be worried, thinking, "Am I going to get fined for breaking wind?" Yeah. And the city police in Vienna said, of course, no one will be reported for accidentally letting one go once. Good. Because you do not want to end up in prison for breaking wind. What are you in here for? Loose sphincter. Oh, God. But also, I read further on, and it says that the man rose from the park bench, looked at the officer, and apparently intentionally released a massive intestinal wind in the immediate vicinity of the officers. Well, look, I question the word intentional on that. Intentionally. How do you know? Because he might have been nervous by being approached by the police. I know when I'm nervous, I pop off slightly more frequently. Also, there's a coronavirus epidemic going off. One of the symptoms is a cough, and we all know if you cough, sometimes it's Newton's third law, equal and opposite reactions. You end up breaking some wind. So I'm not sure. I think it might have been accidental. To find out more, I'm joined by the Austrian on the line now. Thank you very much for joining us. So what do you have to say for yourself? Yeah, you did it on purpose. And that's it. Thank you very much. I thought we'd wrap up some of the news. Some messages before we go. Mark says, gives a whole new meaning to Breaking Bad. Chris says, nice. Good job Trump wasn't in Vienna. Exactly. They're finding big Trumps. And he also says, vestibular bulbs, the other catchphrase to the show. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. It's going back. That's back. I think we're coming towards the end. I'll say, if you want, we can go back to any more chat before we go. You can catch up on any of the shows if you've missed them on our YouTube channel, and do subscribe to that if you can. Do tell people about the show. It's on at 9 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's 9 o'clock here in the UK, because we know people are watching around the world. We had someone watching from Essex the other day, so I know there's people from all over watching. And tell people about it, because then because we're here, we're stuck at home still. And it doesn't look like the pubs are opening, so we appreciate anyone watching. Just hit us up on the Joke Pit fan page. You can put comments on there as well if you the show, that's appreciated as well. Not just donations. We will take your kind words too. Anything. You see how desperate we are. Yeah. And yeah, I think anything else, Steve?
Yeah, I got some more messages. Okay. Just because someone sent a mean one about me earlier on when I was saying the ginger beard makes your teeth look whiter. Heather says, well, she says, why Eric? Or, depending on tone, why Eric? Just thought I had that one in. Colin says, God, I thought it was Rosemary West on the photo. Come on, where's your picture of... There it is. Oh, my God.
I mean, do I look 20 years older? Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
I think we're up to date with the messages. Keep them coming through. Chris says, I'm on an island, Sheppey. The Isle of Sheppey. Maybe we should look into what people are like there if you want the Fred West, the Rosemary West types. I think we're all done. Keep the messages coming through. We'll respond to them when we're not here. Keep tweeting, keep emailing, and if you've got any news stories, send them through. We might get to include them in a roundup for the next time we do a show, which is Tuesday. Anything to plug between now and Tuesday? What are you up to?
Nothing. There's nothing to do. Yeah. There's nothing to do.
I'd love to totally disagree, but you're right. I've got no stand-up gigs in, these online stand-up gigs. Don't have any this weekend.
I've kept them all in the diary so I can see where I would have been, which I think I would have been doing a preview in Kingston tomorrow, but that's gone now because Edinburgh's gone and just a bunch of gigs that aren't happening. Wow.
So, if you'd like to contribute to the Razor Fund, there's a lot of that you could do. And, the link's down the bottom if you would. If you've enjoyed it enough to buy us a drink. Sorry, I just found the Why Eric message down here as well. It's being copied all over the place. Lovely. That's the new catchphrase for the show. Why Eric?
Here we go.
Yeah, buy us a drink down the bottom would be muchly appreciated. Have yourself a cracking weekend. We'll see you Tuesday at 9. Till
Thanks
then.
a lot.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.